do you think that the spiritual and not religious non-Christian ones are finding anything that's real? And if so, what are they finding in their spiritual? Like, is that a real journey?
Okay.
Are they finding real spirits? Like, is the universe a real spirit?
Okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
When I do ayahuasca wherever I do ayahuasca, am I finding real spiritual discoveries?
Okay. Yeah. No.
Okay.
And I'll put that pretty so let me, it's a hard no in the sense of, are they finding Christ in that? Right? Are they finding like, no, the universe is not a spirit. No, there are no other gods but one,
right. But there's other spirits,
but there are other spirits. And so if we're saying, are they encountering demonic spirits? Possibly.
Okay.
But then I would also say this. I think they can find truth in a couple of different things. Okay. Along the spiritual journey. If they're discovering their own brokenness and their need to be made whole, that actually is a revelation of that I am in need. And so hopefully we would find that what we need is Christ and his wholeness.
Okay.
It's nothing that can be found within self or within nature or within universe. Okay.
So you're looking at it as like people who are on a spiritual journey are trying to get unbroken instead of not worrying about getting unbroken and just trying to discover what's out there.
Well, no, I think that's what I'm saying is I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm just saying it can be like that.
Okay.
I think there are others that just, find this like connection with creation, right? And they're just like, oh, wow, creation. And that kind of becomes like a big thing for them. Like in creation, I find peace. In creation, I find a sense of satisfaction or joy. And what I would say is actually Romans 1 speaks about that, about how the invisible, about how God has revealed himself in his attributes in creation. And so, in other words, I think in creation, when we're beholding the beauty of a sunset or sunrise, when we're beholding the beauty of an incredible, mountain form and mountain range, I'm thinking, I'm looking at that going, yeah, that can be beautiful. But the creator behind it is what makes that so beautiful. So he created it to look this way. And so, in other words, I think sometimes this journey, put it that way, actually can lead us into a discovery of the creator.
Okay.
Doesn't for everybody, but it can.
I guess the spiritual and not religious people that like the stereotypical spiritual and not religious person that I think of in my head is more crazier than the one that you have in your head.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the girl sitting on the back deck looking at trees and birds and the birdhouse with a cup of coffee.
Right.
It's let's do drugs and see what happens, people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's there too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I know individuals that's their thing, right? Like I know I had individuals one time who knew pretty well. They came to me, they were like, I've discovered our, the why we exist. And I was like, okay, cool. And their response was, we're actually just all in a dream.
Yeah.
We're in the dream.
Well, I discovered it.
And someone's going to wake up.
We're in the Matrix.
And the truth will be over. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I get that. And that happened. I bring that up because they said that kind of happened as they were sitting around, smoking with a lot of other people. Yeah. Right. And that was what it kind of came to them. And they're all like, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of The Good Place?
Tell me about it.
It's the show about the afterlife, and they all wake up in the afterlife.
Well,
she gets to the afterlife, and they have a picture of some random dude on the wall. And she's like, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Oh, this is the person that most accurately depicted the afterlife while on drugs in the 80s or whatever." And it's just some random dude. And they're like, "We have his picture up because he got the closest than anybody else ever."
Yeah.
It's freaking funny.
Yeah. I mean, but that's so, yeah. And so, yes, obviously there's other individuals that unfortunately in their own pursuit, if you want to put it that way, or own quest of becoming spiritual,
right?
It actually leads them maybe further away from the Lord, or it could actually cause self-harm,
Yeah.
But I do think individuals that are like that are again, they're trying to find some kind of meaning, purpose, something, and often have been jaded by organized institutional religion.
So you don't think any of these people are just following demons?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like, in other words, they just kind of
like they're spiritual. Like,
yes, no, that can happen too.
Okay,
sure. Yeah, they get connected to a demon, and the next thing you know,
like, because we've talked about opening doors, and
right?
Stuff can open doors.
100%.
And okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you think that could be it too?
Absolutely.
So it could be all the way to I just feel something in nature,
right?
And don't really go to church all that much. So I'm spiritual and not religious. All
right.
the way to I did drugs in an Indian temple with a whatever the leader there is called, and
right.
And now a demon's in me.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely. It could be all of those things.
Okay.
Yeah.